Good day, ladies and gentlemen of the Total Debt Freedom world. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about credit again. There is so much in the way of a demographic out there that is just so afraid to do anything about their debt because they think it's going to ruin their credit. It would be the equivalent of somebody saying, you know, I'm afraid of quitting smoking because of what it's going to do for my nerves or weight gain or something like that. The benefits that you get from getting out of credit card debt far outweigh any kind of inconvenience. So I'm just going to read this email that I got here from somebody yesterday, actually, and she's talking to one of the guys in my office, and she says, telling you frankly, my husband and I are still hesitant to do this, but I'm still struggling over my credit card debt. I put all my debts on a line of credit, and my husband is worried that I'm going to have a bad credit and I'm going to not get approved one day if we have to own a home in the future. So not a homeowner, has credit card debt, can't afford to pay it. That's like it's like the equivalent of a house burning down, and then you're worried that the fire department's ruining your prized rose garden. It's like, you know, two different things completely. But anyway, I digress. These debts got accumulated when my mom back home got hospitalized, and I kept using cash advances for my credit cards, and all my savings are gone. So I decided to go to the bank and ask for a line of credit and put all my debts on a line of credit, which I can no longer afford. So the interest rate's too high for it. The monthly payments are too high, and my other expenses don't allow me to pay down the balances. It's like, I'm still sending money every single month to my parents. So even though she can't afford to pay for her own debt that she's incurred, she's still sending money to her family. Life insurance, kids, educational plan, phone, rent, etc., etc. Anyway, I would still like to know how this thing works. How are you going to help me through this? You know, I know you guys are the expert, but I'm so worried about my credit. And, you know, it's so strange because we have this conversation, it seems like 100 times a day with people when it comes to my credit is so important to me. I don't know if it's just programming out there and I don't listen to it, but I mean, I've got a little bit more experience, I suppose, when it comes to managing money and understanding how credit card companies and banks work. It's actually pretty funny. I had a conversation a couple weeks ago with a guy that's a retired executive for a Schedule I bank in Canada, and he knows exactly what our firm does and how we get people out of debt, and he loves the idea, but he also understands exactly how credit card companies and banks get people in so much debt and why it's so profitable. Back to the story here about credit card debt. The whole thing with our program and our approach and the way that we get people out of debt is we deal with the debt and we actually deal with the credit. Our approach, of course, is to negotiate. We operate as a law firm, and because of that, we're really the only company out there that has the ability to negotiate in the client's best interest. And because it's a law firm, it acts privately, so there's no public record on the credit report like a bankruptcy trustee or a consumer proposal, or a credit counseling would show, nonprofit or for-profit, it doesn't matter. Those all show up on the credit report. We don't do any of that to people's credit bureaus. So it's a fairly, can I turn left here? Yeah. So it's a fairly safe and clean way to get rid of your credit card debt. Now, the other thing is people graduate our program with a much better credit score than what they had on the day they started the program. And that, for some reason, doesn't sink into people. The other approaches that get people out of credit card debt essentially take your money monthly, and then they distribute it to the credit card companies in small, tiny little payments. What we do is, because we get you off this crazy merry-go-round of debt and you get on a new plan, you're saving a lump sum of money, which allows us to go negotiate one debt after the other. So usually every 6 to 8 months, we're knocking off a debt for you, and that adjust the balance down to zero. Even though you settle it in full, you might pay, you know, $4,500 on a $10,000 Visa. You're saving a tremendous amount of money. Shows it's settled in full. It's off your credit. It's settled. You don't owe the money anymore. So your total debt service ratio increases. That improves. So that's how people get out of credit card debt with our program and improve their credit score. We often see people with a credit score increase of about 100 points. When I started this business, it was around 2005 or 6, so well over 10 years ago now, that the Canadian Institute of Mortgage Professionals, I think the acronym is SIMBL, I put together a training program for mortgage agents that were looking to help people get out of credit card debt, but didn't have enough equity in their home to pull out the money to pay off the debt. So I basically explain how the negotiation approach works, how it improves the credit, how it helps fund more mortgage deals and get people out of debt. It's really a win-win-win situation. The only people that don't like it, of course, are the credit card companies, because they want to keep you in debt as long as possible, paying interest as long as possible, because it's incredibly profitable for them. So we shorten the timeline. I'm telling you, I've seen them as long as 70, 80 months. If you look at the bottom of a credit card statement, it'll say how long it'll take you to get out of credit card debt if you just make the minimum monthly payments. Sunglass time, the sun's out. And I've seen our timeline shorten it to 4 or 5 years on a very frequent basis. So should you be worrying about your credit rating, especially this lady over here who has a ton of debt, no assets, doesn't own a home, and has money going overseas back home to take care of sick family? There's nothing there to worry about with credit. I mean, a really funny way of putting it is, what is your credit doing for you right now? Absolutely nothing. It's got you in debt. Another question that you could ask yourself is, if you were to take this, credit that people value so much, it's like, oh, I have this credit and I value it, and maybe one day I want to buy a home. Well, you don't own a home. It's not going to help you buy a home. It's only going to keep you in debt, paying interest, making the credit card companies rich. So take that credit that you have. Let's say you've got $30,000 in credit card debt and you've got $30,000 in so-called credit. Go put an ad on Kijiji or Craigslist and say $30,000 of credit for sale. Below that, say, by the way, I've got $30,000 of debt on my credit lines, and see what kind of offers you get for it. There's absolutely zero value in credit cards when there's debts on them. So your credit has zero value, your credit rating has zero value. Continuing to do what you've always done will get you what you've always gotten, which will keep you in debt for a lifetime. That, folks, is the message for today. Take the focus off your credit rating, put the focus on getting out of debt and actually doing something about it. It is no different than telling yourself that you can't quit smoking because you won't be able to deal with the night tremors, the shivers, or the weight gain. The benefits of getting out of debt far outweigh keeping the debt. And I promise you, with our program and our approach, we actually improve your credit score. On graduation, we see our clients get out of debt with a higher credit score than what they had when they started. Thanks for checking out the video today. I hope you have an amazing one. If you have any further questions, you can put a comment below, give the video a thumbs up and like it. And of course, if there's somebody that needs to see this video, please share it with them. We'll talk to you guys later. Have an amazing one. Bye for now.